Hello there. It's LA Family Life, all the way from Los Angeles, California. I'm John Edmerson. My wife and I, Felicia, have been with you for the last several weeks. This particular session is our final session. This has been a limited run as we've tried to undergird and support our theme for the quarter, which has to do with the family. First and foremost, God's family, the church, and then secondarily, our biological families. And we hope that the programming has been beneficial to you. We all worship at the Figueroa Church of Christ. As I've mentioned, our address is 455 West 57th Street in Los Angeles, 90037. Our esteemed minister is Vincent Hawkins, and we're so thrilled to be with you on tonight. So Felicia and I are trying a little different format. We're typically together like the Pickens, but the Hawkins actually do their live stream in separate rooms. So we're going to try that tonight. Hopefully she won't be upset at me. So, sweetie, can you please say hello? Anything you want to add tonight?
Hello. Yeah, I said you're. I can't nudge you.
Okay.
Because you're P's and Q's.
All right. And then we have Wayne and Lori Pickens, who are dear friends of ours at the Figueroa congregation. Wayne and Lori, can you say hello to everybody?
Hello, everybody.
All right. So if you see a comment tonight that you would like to make, please go ahead and just enter it in the comment section of where you're watching. If you're on a tape delay, then of course that's not going to apply. But for 7 o'clock here on this Monday, it's real time and we can actually see your comment and respond. We see brother and sister Hawkins. They're saying hello and hello to the Pickens. All right. Talk about who is that couple. All right. All right. So we're talking about friendship tonight. Couples as friends, being friends, being homies, so to speak. And Felicia and I have been talking about the subject. Fee, anything you want to begin with tonight?
And just talking about friendship and what they do recreationally to keep that friendship going and keep the spice in the relationship and keep it in mind that recreation is one of his needs. So it'd be interesting to see how you work that into your relationship, considering that it's his need, and how do you Lori, how do you supply his needs and then get your needs met in return?
Okay, well, just before we get there, the audience may have missed what Sister Edmerson just said. We have an earlier podcast on his needs, her needs. And there are 5 basic needs for him and 5 basic needs for her. This is an approach with Dr. William Harley. And his thesis is, if you agree to meet these 5 basic needs of him and her, then the likelihood of your marriage being fulfilling and that it was last long is extremely high. So when you look at the list of his needs, one of his needs is recreational companionship. Mm-hmm. And so what she kind of hinted at there with just a little shade is that that's one of his needs, not her needs. So we like that whole friendship and bonding. And for those who have kids, if you watch anime is a Japanese artistry form of cartoon making. One of the themes in anime is that of male friendship. In almost every anime series, you're going to see these strong personalities that are males bonding and doing life together. We can deduce from that then that in certain parts of the world, that's important. it's important that men have friends, that we do things together. And again, that may not be for the woman, but it certainly is for the men. So I just wanted to make sure that you all saw that. All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started with what we've prepared to share tonight. But before that first question, Wayne and Lori, any introductory remarks maybe you guys may have for us?
No, like I said, I'll just follow your lead and see where, if I have any questions or comments, I'm sure they'll come up. I'll just have Lori answer them.
All right. So how
we said we were not going to do that tonight.
Well, can we ask, how did you both meet?
How do we meet?
Yes.
We actually met in church, believe it or not.
That's a good sign.
Lori's mom was a member there before Lori became a member there at Figueroa. And her mother used to sit right to the right of me and my family, but I never really knew her mom until I met Lori. And we were friends.
Mom scouted you out for Lori.
Well, no, not at all. It's I saw Lori come in one day. I can tell you exactly what she was wearing, what she was driving, when she left, which I just remember that. But I did not know her mom, even though you guys know the setup of the church. Her mom was probably 5 feet to my right. And it's just, we became friends, hung out a little. And
you said the first thing you noticed, though, were my toes.
Yeah,
so that was what attracted him to me. It was my toes, my feet.
Well, you had on some slippers or sandals, but it's, yeah.
Oh, how funny. That is so awesome. Good. All right. So our first question tonight, and if you've got some questions for our team tonight, I want to encourage you to go ahead and, put in your information, give us a shout out from wherever you are. All right. So how would you encourage couples to work on their friendship?
Well, I would say, first of all, you have to be committed in any relationship, and you have to have that trust factor. You have to plan, just different events. We had kind of spoke on it a little earlier. It's never take for granted. Date night, just as much as you can do together, I would highly encourage that. We both have different needs, but, you meet as many of them as you can. Mm-hmm. I would just say respect each other's time, their talents, shortcomings, praise them when they're good, and when they're bad, just hey, still have empathy with them, and that's where it starts. Yeah. You just build from there.
Now, can you say that you can work on your friendship just in the normal flow of doing life together, or do we have to get up in the morning and say, we're going to work on our friendship today?
I think we've been married a little more than 20 years now, and it's a process. You don't start off where you are now, but what we did have in common, we had the common goal, which obviously is our faith. So that was the foundation and still is. But no, you grow together through the good and through the bad. You don't just arrive. It's a process. And it's never all peaches and cream in any relationship. But I've learned, and I think Lori has too, I always say, don't major in minor. Exactly. Little small stuff, we don't fester. We just let it die and just let it go away.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I would agree. It takes time to learn about, the wants and the needs of a person. It requires a lot of listening and not talking. Then it requires, an action plan. So, both parties individually and then collectively have to, decide, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to work on our own friendship as a couple? And then how can we minister and encourage other couples? And so I think we do a pretty good job of that. Spending time. We spend a lot of time with our friends, couple friends, people, enjoy coming to our home. We like hosting. So we get a chance to to spend time and encourage other couples quite often, and we enjoy that.
Mhm. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think that Wayne likes to ride the four-wheeler things.
That's
What are
that's
those?
a question down the line. That comes under what do you do that you don't necessarily want to do for your
Oh, okay.
spouse in the name of love.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, okay. So we'll save that. But it is interesting to me that when you think about a person that you're married to, that you can also think of them as a friend. And I want to encourage those who are relatively new to the married game, so to speak, that being friends with your spouse is, in my estimation, one of the higher points of married life. You know, it's almost like having your best friend with you all the time. In the East, particularly in Asian countries, there's a concept where you call your friend and you say, and they have a word for it, but in the English, it means, can you basically run errands with me today? And it's not the errands, so to speak. It's the fact that you're spending time with someone that you care about. And so it just builds that closeness. So I just love how friendship is esteemed, and I want to encourage our couples to think about their relationship in that way. Do you think that with couples that we can have strong friendships um, and still have a strong relationship inwardly? So it's like, okay, my wife and I, we're really tight, but are we so tight that we don't have room for others, or can we do both?
I think you can absolutely do both. In fact, it's very healthy for couples to have their own time. You can be best friends with anybody, but best friends with your spouse, with the best girlfriend or get best guy friend, you get tired of each other. That's just the real. You need time to decompress. So you allow time for that, but you don't allow that to supersede the time that you spend together.
Okay. All
And you
right.
can have some diversion,
Yep.
but
Yep.
to help you come back stronger and
Mhm.
Right.
keep that
Mhm.
solidification. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good, good. All right. All right. Do you ever do anything because your spouse enjoys it, but you don't necessarily enjoy it? And if so, give us an example.
I got to go first. I got to go first on this one. Okay. So one day I come home. Wayne he had turned 60. So he's going through this midlife crisis. I get home and I see 3 off-road ATVs in the garage. So my first question is, well, where am I going to park my car? And, and I said, well, why 3 bikes? He says, oh, I got one for you and Haley too. Well, you know, he enjoys riding, and when he can't get his group of buddies together, I feel sorry for him, and I say, okay, pack them up, I'll go with you. Not that I necessarily, it's dirty, it's muddy, I mean, it's just so grimy, but again, back to that friendship thing, you know even though it's not my favorite sport, he likes it, so I partner with him because it's something that he enjoys doing.
And that's one thing I love about Lori. She can get cleaned up, dainty, and all, but then she can get her hands dirty as well. Um, and that's important. A lot of
Right.
things I do not expect her to do, and she'll say, "Okay, I'll go with you." I'm like, "Oh no, babe, you don't have to. You're good, But I'm not going. You just that kind of sport you don't do by yourself. You need
Right.
partners, as many as possible. So we may do a little small ride or soft ride. I won't get too dangerous with her, but she can handle it. She's good at it. On the other side, yeah, I do a lot that I don't necessarily want to do.
That is true.
If you know Lori, she's a planner. I mean, we'll just finish one event and she's already planning the next one. Okay, just got back from vacation. Okay, in 2 years we're going to this place, right? I'm like, Lori, then I go biblical on her. Don't think about tomorrow. For tomorrow may never be. Right. You got to do this to get the best price, the best, and she'll justify it. And I'm like, okay, so we already planned, but she's good at it. And she always asks me, why don't you plan anything? Well, you don't give me the chance to plan anything. You
Right.
do it.
You wait till the last minute.
Shoot. Sometimes it works out.
I gotta know what I'm
way.
packing.
Right,
Okay.
right. Yeah. And that's the major thing or the main thing. I don't like shopping. Most men I know don't. I can go to the mall, get what I want to get, and I'm gone.
Right.
You'll bribe me. Well, hey, I need a shirt. I need some t-shirts. Well, come with me. I'll buy it for you. So I'll go get my t-shirts and I'm ready to go. But I don't want to have to do every store and every mall. That's rough.
Right.
So I'm not alone on that one. But
man, amen, brother.
Yeah, we just don't want to do it. So.
Yeah, I have not gotten to that point where I can do the shopping. I don't know why. It's just my attitude gets bad. I start getting sleepy and hungry. I'm like, oh, but Fee can shop all day.
Right.
And I do not need to eat.
Right.
And she has all this energy when it comes to shopping too. And it starts as soon as we pull up in the mall, she's already halfway to the door and I'm just now getting out. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought we were coming together.
Well,
I know.
Yeah, I can relate. Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, Fee, do you do anything with me that you don't particularly care for? And if you can kind of please speak up a little bit.
Okay. Well, when we first got married, John had this obsession with electronics. So we were living in Dallas, and Circuit City was big, but we went to Circuit City every night that he got home from work.
That is not true.
I like to shop, but I don't want to go to Circuit City. But every night we went.
It was not every night.
Yes, it was. Every night we went to Circuit City. I mean, but that was, he had that's when they had the Blu-ray, but he had all these, our entertainment centers set up, but that was his passion. He loved electronics. He had this catalog book. Every day he looked through the catalog book, but every night we went to Circuit City. So, like I said, that was one thing I didn't want to do, but I accommodated.
Right.
Wow.
I was so glad when Circuit City went out of business.
When Circuit City closed, I grieved. I really did. I was so sad. I really did love that place. As a matter of fact, I loved it so much, I worked there.
Really?
Oh, wow.
They said, John, you might as well work here. You're up here every day. And the man was like, yeah, I'll hire you to start on Monday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's
so funny. That's so funny. I think about Brother Hawkins and I wonder if Sister Hawkins likes to ride horses like he does. She does not?
No.
I'm going to speak for her. Not like that.
Not like that.
But she can.
But she can.
knows how,
Yes.
So
Right.
That's what I justify. Hey, in case we had an emergency and you had to get out, you got to know how to ride,
That's right.
Yeah,
that is so funny. I mean, watching Brother Hawkins, I'd love to see him around horses. I mean, he is just at a whole nother level of delight. So that's kind of what we mean, is to find that special thing that your spouse enjoys and try to enter into that space with them. And it helps, I think, as Wayne and Lori both pointed out in Fee, it helps to develop appreciation within you, because I know that Felicia didn't like electronics like me, to tell the truth, but she is true. I did have a pretty strong commitment. I don't have it anymore, but all right, well, thank you so much. So let me know. That's Sister Hawkins. She said, I enjoy it when I'm able to join him. I adore our horse named Coda. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, all right. So that's from Sister Hawkins. All right, all right. So number three, how is your being friends affected the time you have with others? Do you do a lot of things without one another?
So I know, Laura, you said that you try to make time for other people, but how do you balance that? You know,
Um, Great question. Now that Haley is grown and gone, Wayne and I have a lot more time to spend with each other. And not that we didn't have time before as she, grew or got older, but the time is, you have to insert your time a little differently. Um, but we go where we want to go. We do what we want to do pretty much now. But one thing that I have really learned over the last few weeks since Haley's been home is that can be dangerous because you can exclude your family. You know, she was very honest about a week or so ago, and she said, she was upset. I said, well, what's going on? She says, you guys, you keep excluding me. You
Mm.
keep going places, and you don't involve me. And I said, oh, and I said, we're so sorry, but we just didn't want to interrupt your, grown up time, make plans for her. And she has other plans at 19. But we felt so bad about that. And it was true, but it was, more of being respectful of her time. Um, so, Wayne and I, whereas we do have a lot of time to spend together and we enjoy and we're foodies. So we like to try different foods at different, eat out. Probably eat out way too much, but we can do that now, in my opinion. But, we, we spend time together, but we have to also, we make time for other people, and it's just something that we've always done. This is nothing new. Even in the beginning of our marriage, our relationship, we've always done things with other couples. We travel with other couples, we go to dinner. We like having fun. And it's not always the more the merrier, but sometimes having another couple or two, it just makes things a little more exciting. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, we
sorry.
definitely
Yeah, no, that's it's not even a question that I thought about, but when you brought it up, well, getting back to Haley, um, we started later in life when we were married and had a child, and then she finally left. And when she did go to school, she wanted to go far away on the East Coast. So when it was time to go, sometimes it's time to go. But when she came back, we were already started our other life. And I don't know if you guys ever saw that commercial where the kid went away to college, and when the kid came back, the room was about this big. So when Haley came back, and her room was about this big because we kind of have taken it over, and we still joke, she and I, Haley, about that to this time. But you do have to be family first.
okay.
But now that we do have the time, we're taking full advantage of it. Just have to be careful. Everybody can't do everything at the same time. Things you're interested in, they may not be able to do in a position to do. So you don't want to exclude, but sometimes along the way you exclude people that you didn't mean to do. So I would just say be cautious and conscious of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think you guys embody ministry. You said your your spiritual foundation helps keeps you guys grounded. So, and I
Right.
like how you do include include couples. It's you're great mentors, and that is so crucial with couples to have mentors, because it's like you don't want to see couples, especially younger couples, having all these friendships with single people, because that's not conducive to the relationship. So it's good to have couples, act as mentors to younger couples. And we see that with you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, when you think about time, time is something that we'll never get back. And one of the things that you learn in chaplaincy is how valuable time is. Whether you are from Armenia or Japan or China or the US, we all have a limited amount of time.
Right.
And I think it's good for us to think about our lives in that way. So when I think about, time as a commodity, I want to be conscientious about how I spend it. And I want to spend it with people I care about, with causes that I celebrate, with things that I value. And I think you add a lot of worth to your marriage by thinking about your time in that way. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Fee probably with us now being empty nesters, and this just happened like 2 years ago. I think we're just now, or let me use I statements. I am hitting my stride in terms of appreciating and valuing and really trying to have as much time with her um, as I possibly can. And I really didn't realize that that wasn't where it probably should have been until Joab left. And I wouldn't say, and maybe she can comment on this, I wouldn't say that I was neglectful, but it just hadn't crossed my mind. And I'm grateful that now I can see that, boy, I should have been doing this a longer time ago. And so with each day, we try to make time to pray together, to talk about various things. And it's not, perfect. I mean, we're even at 30 years in December, we're still working on things. But I can say that I have a renewed commitment in this space. So Fee, do you feel that, or is that not how you view things?
Well, like I said, you've always had me. I've always run errands with you. When I met you, you had me doing different things with you.
Right.
So that's, I come to the office. I've always come to the office with you. I've always told you've always had me come into your space. So, in considering that I'm pretty much I'm not a loner, but I like my solitude. I like my alone time.
I know.
So, so I'm good. I just like to accommodate.
Yeah.
So, but if like I said, you're the minister. If they call at 3 o'clock in the morning, don't bother to play. So, I think you understand me well enough to so you're a little harder on yourself than I am. So I don't think you have anything that's not my concern.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you, like I said, when I met you, I knew exactly who I was marrying. So a minister, I know ministry is number one. So I share you, and I don't mind sharing you with the members. So like I say, I knew who I was marrying. So, but just because of my constitution, my just how I'm wired, it works. It works
Right.
for me.
That's great.
Right. And what's so striking for me is that of the 5 kids, Jareen was the only one that we could lay down on the bed and she would go to sleep by herself. Everybody else, you had to kind of be in the room or dancing around with them or laying beside them or something. And Fee is that way. She is so self-contained.
Right.
And I knew just because of my parents being in ministry that was going to be a trait that would serve the ministry well, because sometimes you go into congregations and you don't have the level of friendship that maybe you want or that you desire. And over the years, we've been at a handful of different congregations. I think we're finally at a point now where, at least for me, I want us to work on having more friendship couples. Couples that we can go to the Dodger game, we can go to not the Clippers, the Lakers games, and we can go to the beach together, we can take vacations together. That's something that we really hadn't experienced, because we've always had the kids, and when you have 5 kids, you don't have a lot that you can do with other people, so now it's just us. So hopefully we'll get a chance to do more with our new family at the Figueroa congregation. Anything else, Lori and Wayne, you guys want to add before we move on to the next question?
No.
All right. So do you both have a family background where you saw parents who were the best of friends?
You go.
I do. My parents they were together until the day they both passed away a few years ago. I grew up in a 2-parent household, 4 kids, 1 chicken, and we got through it. So I can say, yeah, it wasn't a perfect life or a perfect relationship, like no one is, but 60 some years, that's what I saw. And that was a commitment, and that was the only way out. Death, that's what they were committed to. So,
Lori?
And I'm just going to comment on Wayne's parents, how I saw them, and how I was always so inspired by them, their faithful commitment to God, and they worked in ministry, and so I just really enjoyed watching them when, what was that, we were much younger, but that's what I remember so much about them. It's just the time and their relationship and their loyalty, but as for me, now I just got to be honest, my parents became better friends after they divorced. And sadly, our dad passed away when he was 55, which is 24 years ago. But he was a good man, and I remember, he would always be at our family functions, and it's like, when you're growing up and you become a young adult, it's like, well, didn't you leave? Why are you always here? But it was just God knew when he was going to take him. So it was great that he didn't take him from us per se. When my parents divorced, he was always in our life, and so I'm just grateful for that blessing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Hey, Fee, I'm going to take you out of the screen just for a moment. Check your phone and I'll bring you right back. Okay, sweetie?
Yeah.
Check your phone. When you experienced the separation with your parents, Lori, how did that affect your view of friendship with husband and wife? For example, did that push you to work harder to work on your friendship because you kind of know what could be a possible outcome, or did you even think about it?
It was probably the exact opposite. I had a hard time trusting. So because I saw my parents go this way, I was 13. And so for me to make friends, I would make friends, but then I didn't really trust anybody, So I was from an early age, very dismissive of people. And still am to a degree, but not as bad as I was. And I do believe that has a lot to do with from the time my parents separated and then eventually divorced, and probably losing my dad at such a young age. So a combination of all those things.
Yeah, I think friendship for me, my parents modeled modeled it. Um, my dad is, I think has more of the classic male posture. So I don't know that I would look back on their relationship. I know that they worked well together, but I don't know if I would necessarily say that when I would look at back at them, and this is not necessarily a critique as much as I am just remembering that I would say, boy, they're good friends, you know. Um, Now though I know as they've aged, I've watched and I've noticed them become closer friends. And friendship is so important. Like we began our talk today, where for men in particular, that recreational companionship, I can probably count on maybe two hands in the 53 years I've been here, the people that I really, really consider my friends. And, people look at ministers and they think, that everybody's their friend. And in a sense, that's true. But when I talk about, counting them on two hands, I'm talking about a different level of friendship. And it's more involved than just, pleasantries and maybe occasionally doing lunch together. I mean, people that you're really doing life with. It's like when something happens to me now, who are you going to call? Those are your friends. You know, when you have a sensitive matter that you're thinking about and processing, who are you going to call? And you can't put everybody in that space. It has to be people, like Lori said, that you trust, people that, at least in your eyes, they've kind of earned a certain level of intimacy. And I think we do biblical marriage justice when we can model that between husband and wife. One of the things that does make this so challenging is that as sexes, we are so different, but those different things as well that complement each other. So I do want to uh, tell Lori that I appreciate your candor and your vulnerability in talking about your dad. I have seen how that works in families when there's a change at the parental level. So thank you so much for that. And then thank you for um, not portraying a home dynamic that's so perfect. And we all have had families where we wish, even in our own, things could have been a little better here and a little better there. But thank God for His grace, as we talked about with the Anderson and with the Andersons, and just thank God for the imperfectness, because that gives us something to work on, something to strive for. I never wanted, and I never want our kids to look at Felicia and I and not say, you know, and then you fill in the blank. So I've been conscientious of that. So thank you again for your commentary regarding your family. Fee, anything you want to add on that, Fee?
Oh, I understand about that. The dad being better friends with your mom. My parents divorced. After they divorced, of course, they're better friends. And him coming over to my grandparents' field, to get to, eat dinner. So yes, I definitely understand that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I was blessed to see my mom's parents, Vern and Ollie. I thought they had a great friendship. So, lots of humor. So, to get them over through those tough times. It's like, I saw them, they thick and thin. But it's like, do you know that couple on television, Nora and Nora, the Charleses? I think it's Nora and
What show?
Not,
let me think.
but not Laurel and Hardy,
No, not no.
Oh.
The thin man. He's a detective. So it's an old like black and white show. But
I just
anyway,
remember Bonnie and Clyde. You know.
their relationship is like, they like they match wit. They go back and forth. I mean, they're the best of friends, but they just have these.
Oh, heart to heart. Is
No,
it heart?
it's
No,
old.
like it
Oh,
was.
I don't know.
I think you have to have that level of where you can match wit with each other.
Yeah.
It's okay to poke fun at each other. I think that adds to the friendship that when you're able to do that. So just kind of kid around with each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's very important.
Humor.
Yeah.
Humor.
Seriously.
Yes.
I recall that episode on Andy Griffith where it was this couple in town and they were so mean
To each
to
other.
everybody.
Oh, wait.
And then like
Back up. They were so they were so mean to each other. They bickered. They went back and forth. They just argued. So when Andy came over to the house, he's like, this has to stop. So he was like, he made them spend a whole day where they couldn't do any bickering, and they were just bit their tongues. And what happened from them not being able to bicker and just let things out is that they were mean to everybody else. So in other words, when they were so nice to everybody else and they bickered with each other, but when they had to be nice to each other, everybody felt it. So that's
Yeah.
I told John, I can't be nice to your members and be nice to you.
Oh, here we go.
Which is
Yes, pick one. Pick one.
So if you had to say there was a couple on TV that really embodied friendship, I would probably say, the Cosbys. I just remember watching them. I said, boy, they are such, and I know it's TV, but I just really liked how it showed them doing life together.
And there's sense of humor.
Right.
Yeah, they did. They had a great sense of humor. The kids were.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, how do you handle people who want to be friends with either of you, but not both of you? Now we're gonna spill a little tea.
I have to understand that question a little closer, but if you have a strong foundation in a relationship, no one's going to come between that, and that includes family. So Lori would just cut him off at the neck.
Right.
I'm a little more long-suffering. I'll give everybody a chance, but people eliminate themselves, and that's what I tell my daughter growing up. Everyone's not going to be your friend all the time. They come and they go, but you stay who you are. So I'm a little more tolerable. So I'll give them a little more chance. They may not like Lori or may not, vice versa. But depending on what they did or what they said, I guess would determine how I'm going to react to it. So
my turn.
Yes.
Well, I think as a married couple, I don't think you can have separate friends. I just don't. But you can have different relationships in the friendships. For instance, I have a different relationship with Felicia, whereas you and Wayne might just have a fellowship relationship when we're at the church building.
Right.
So you can have different individual friendships within a relationship, but I just don't think that as a married couple, you have separate friends. Of course, there's people who I may not know. There are a lot of people I don't know from Wayne's past, right? But they're not in our immediate, everyday, every life circle. So, I would just say that it's just hard for me to fathom how you can have a friend who may not like how if I could me have a friend how I would have a friend who wouldn't like Wayne, but they're my friend. That
Right,
makes no sense to me. Like I
right,
just wouldn't waste my time in a relationship like that with anybody.
right, right, right. Sister Pamela Choctaw says, "Thank you for our deacon and his lovely wife sharing with honest comments and conversation." So that's from Sister Choctaw, and I think that's Kendall talked about Go Lakers. I missed that a few moments
Of course,
a
it's
few
Kendall.
moments ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I think that that as a minister, you have to kind of be friends or cordial and civil with everybody, and you really try. And I've really tried to be that kind of person, even when I knew that people did not particularly care for me. I still tried to be that person that would go the extra mile. It took some time for me to appreciate how that's me, that's not Felicia, and that there are going to be some people that she's just not able to connect with for any number of reasons, and so we need that space, to have, I guess, some diversity of friendship consideration, if you will. However, I've never wanted her to feel like so and so was a friend and there was ill will toward her.
Right.
And I want to ask you, Fee, did you ever feel that?
Well, the people I consider your friends, no, no. Like I said, you're cordial with people, but they're not your friends. We're talking about that friendship. So you don't have friendships where I don't like that person. So your friends that I know, I love, no problem there. And now there have been couples, of course, that we've had to do ministry with that I may not have liked the wife. Um, yeah, but I didn't consider them our friends. I said that's
Right.
just trying to get along. But I wouldn't invite them as my, I wouldn't want to go to the Dodger game with them. So yeah, so no, that I don't use that term loosely, friendship.
Yeah.
So there are people that we just they're on the side, but I'm not trying to do life with them per se.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
meaning that, like I said, I don't there's that intimate space. Now I am to love them. Yes, I don't have a problem with that, but that inviting them into that intimate space, they don't need to be there.
Mhm.
hmm yeah. You want to be selective, about people that are at certain levels. For example, in the Bible, when you look at the 12 apostles, Jesus was not with all 12 of those guys all the time. He was with Peter, James, and John quite a bit.
Right.
So there was a different level of relating to them. So I can definitely see how um, that happens. So the purpose of tonight, though, is to make sure that, okay, we acknowledge that we have different levels, but the one that should be most closest to you should always be your spouse. You should never allow anyone to occupy that first place, that gold medal spot.
Right.
You know,
Or to
uh,
undermine,
huh, sweetie?
not no, so they cannot undermine your relationship with your spouse. So that's what
Mm-hmm.
you're guarding against. That's why it's not feasible for you to have call someone a friend who does not like your spouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Important.
It it's a it's a challenge, but I appreciate the effort that's taken place in what we see not only with the Pickens but so many couples here at the Figueroa congregation. So as we're kind of winding down, Lori, can you and Wayne talk a little bit about some of the couples things that we do here at our congregation to foster friendship and the maturation of our couples?
I'll let you go, but probably MIMS or marriage. Yeah.
Right.
Say the Marriage Enrichment Ministry, aka M or MIM, is it's kind of what's keeping us together as couple friends. We haven't done as much this year as we'd like to, but I think we have some things on the horizon, and that's a really good ministry. We just encourage everybody to come out when we do have events. We try to make sure that the events are people friendly, all people friendly. So it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. We just encourage people to come out and fellowship, and we have some pretty fun stuff.
Right.
We do pretty fun stuff, and once you get there, it's just the getting there a lot of times. But once you get there, you'll be glad you came. Like cheers, everybody will know your name. So MEM would be the biggest platform for us right now.
I would say Kathleen and Vincent kind of spearheaded that back when originally.
Sure did.
And again, we've had some really fun events.
Mm-hmm.
You try to make it sometimes things that people hadn't done in the past, which we found, oh man, I've never done this. You're 70 years old or something. And that's the exciting part and the fun part. But as we're planning, more so Lori, we have some ideas, but then we work out and have to look at the logistics and all. But stay tuned because it's fun.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. So, and we enjoy doing it too. So that's the biggest blessing, is that we have fun planning the events, and then getting feedback and seeing the expressions, and and then watching first timers do crazy stuff that we do. So,
and no one has broken the leg or anything yet. So you gotta be
In the past, what are some things we've done?
Well, let's see. We've had a ranch event. One of our friends has a huge ranch north of here, and so we've done that, and everybody got to. Even our preacher came. Vincent came, and
he wouldn't leave. It was a 2-day event. He stayed 3 days.
Yeah, we had to send him back home. Kathleen was calling, like, "Where's my husband?"
But hey, we're horses there, so it's right up his element. But great time. But we also did, what's that? The Orange County. That was fun.
Oh, we did. Yeah, we did the nights. The nights.
Medieval times.
Medieval times. Yeah. We did. We've done a cooking class that was really fun. We just did that during Valentine's Day. Oh, we've done the cruise, afternoon brunch cruise. We've had, during COVID, the height of COVID, we did a lot of virtual events.
The Hawaiian theme, tropical. Just a little creative.
Yeah.
Doesn't cost a lot of money, but you can bring everybody together.
So. Right.
And then another great way too for couples to for us to all fellowship is to, sign up for the volunteer assignments or the volunteer opportunities. That's another way that, where we can all get together, and if time permits in the future, after we do our volunteer assignment, we can all grab some lunch or something. So that's just another platform that we encourage the couples to get involved with.
And again, if you have ideas, just throw them on the table.
Exactly.
This is, a ministry, no one person.
Nope.
All right. Okay. Well, our limited series has come to an end, and we could not have ended it a better way. Thank you so much, Wayne and Lori, for your time tonight. Thank you for your example. Again, we want to invite you to come worship with us at the Figueroa Congregation, 455 West 57th Street in the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. Our minister is Vincent E. Hawkins. Our Bible class begins at 9:30, and our worship time is at 10:30, and that's a new starting time for both. we'd love to have you with us. So we're going to go ahead and conclude our time tonight. Sister Edmerson, anything you want to close with? Thank you so much. You've been a great host.
Yeah, tell Haley, or Haley, thank you for sharing your parents tonight.
We will let her know. She's watching.
All right. Have a wonderful evening. God bless, and we will talk with you later. Thanks again
All right.
from the
Thank you
Thanks,
guys
everybody.
so much.
Church
Good
of
night.
Christ.
Bye.
All right.